Have you ever wondered why Burger King is next to McDonald's, is next to KFC, is next to Domino's Pizza in a retail park? Why Sainsbury's and Tesco seem to be next door to each other? Or why in your local area the Pizza Hut is next to the kebab place is next to a chicken shop? Believe it or not, despite many people thinking that all these businesses in the same sector being next to each other would be a disadvantage because they're, sharing the customers, it's actually the most economically efficient solution to getting the most customers. And with that being said, obviously that will help them make the most money. But from the offset, parking together your shop next to other shops of the same sector doesn't seem to be a smart idea. And I think it boils down to inherently we're always told, if you're trying to stand out, you want to wear something different, do something different, and be away from everybody else who is trying to, do the same thing as you. So why is it that, let's say, Pizza Hut and Pizza Go-Go are always clumped together when they're arguably trying to compete for your custom by selling you the same product? Surely if you had one pizza house at the south of the town and one at the north, both pizza houses would be better off. And the answer is no. And today I'm going to explain to you why that is the case, because it is truly quite fascinating. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm Dylan. I recently graduated from the University of York with an economics and finance degree. And during my time, we learned a few fascinating real-world concepts. And today I thought I'd share one of them with you, because it's so relevant to every day, and it's something that as a person interested in business I've always wondered about, and it's why do stores of a similar sector always clump together? Like, for example, you go down the end of my road, there's a little row of shops, and at this row of shops is full of fast food places. You've got fish and chips, chicken, pizza, kebab, and I'm sitting there thinking, why are all these fast food places clumped together? There's 4 fast food places, and obviously there's only one of me, so I'm only going to go to, one of these restaurants. If, for example, one was right outside my house, one was, in different locations, maybe I'd be more inclined to go to whatever one was closest. So by being together, arguably, are they not, reducing their chances of getting customers? The short answer is potentially, but the long answer is no. And today I'm going to explain to you exactly why that is in very easy to understand terms. And if you're ever thinking about opening up your own shop, then you're probably going to want to watch this. So let me try and remember everything I learned in economics a few years ago. Basically, the idea behind this whole thing is that let's say, if I was a customer and let's say I wanted some fast food, it doesn't matter what the fast food is, pizza, chips, kebab, whatever. Now, the socially optimal outcome for me is that I spend the least amount of effort getting to the fast food shop and getting my food. So me spending the least amount of effort would mean going to the shop that is closest to me. It means I would have to walk the least, and therefore it's my social optimal outcome. But let's say, for example, there are 2 competing fast food chains. You've got one down the side of my road on the left and one on the right. The one on the left is a lot further away. So my socially optimal outcome, assuming the food's the same really, is to go to the one on my right because it's closer to me. So I would go to my right, get my food, good job for me. However, this is where it gets a bit complicated because the store on the left that's further away sees that the store on the right is getting my custom because it's closer to me, and it decides to move closer. So by moving a bit closer towards my house, I'm now going to go to the store on the left. Then the store on the right sees this and thinks, wait a second, I'm also going to move closer to Dylan because then I get his custom. And then the store on the other side does the same again and the same again and the same again until they are back to back. So when there was one store closer to me, one further away, it basically meant this could not be an equilibrium because these fast food chains would always have an incentive to change location and move closer to me because they wanted my custom. So the only place where they both had equal chance of getting my custom was when they was right next to each other, back to back, and I had to travel the same amount of distance to get to these stores. Now, of course, it assumes that all of these stores are the same and, they offer the same food and I have the same preferences. But just as like to explain the concept of why all in real life, all these fast food places and stores tend to be close together, we'll assume that there's no, brand loyalty, they're all the same and everything like that. So when both of these fast food places are next to each other, there's no incentive for them to change location because by changing their location, it doesn't really create any benefit to them because I'm just still going to go to the one that's closest to me, which is in the closest place to me is directly in front of me where they both now are. So no one can gain from diversifying from their current strategy, which basically means that it's a Nash Equilibrium. And it's only when there's a Nash Equilibrium that their current location is sustainable. In that solution I just gave you, you'll see that basically it was socially optimal because the 2 fast food chains were outside my house. So if you live above a fast food chain and there's plenty below you, you're essentially at the Nash Equilibrium, and there's a socially optimal equilibrium for you at the top. But often, when the fast food chain isn't directly below you or in front of you, the Nash Equilibrium isn't the socially optimal equilibrium, because you'll find that instead of one being closer to you, they're both now further away from you. However, because they're both the same distance away, there's no location benefit to either of them, so they share the customers. But for you, you have to walk further to get to both of them. In essence, there's another video that if you wanted to learn more about this and explains it in much better visual detail, I'll leave that link below. But in essence, the reason why all of these fast food chains are located together is for that exact reason I've just explained, that by being next to each other, they share the customers. They eliminate that location benefit that one of them could potentially have. Now, obviously, that takes a very, very, plain view of it. Basically, there's going to be, reward schemes, differentiation in the food and prices and store and preferences that ultimately will compensate for that additional walk or that additional location benefit, or, will influence what side of the 50-50 you go to. So, it's a lot less black and white than the way I've just explained it. But in essence, that is why all these fast food chains are together. Because they know that by being together, they're going to share all of these customers. And I feel like once you get your head around it, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it does make sense. But intuitively, if I was thinking about opening up a cafe, I really personally, just habitually, despite even knowing this, wouldn't want to open a cafe directly next to the other cafes in the high street, because I'd be like, well, there's already cafes there. But economics would suggest, assuming, as I was saying, same products, that's the best way to go about it. So let me know what you think about this down below. Obviously, if you study economics and it's fresh in your mind, you'll know a lot more about it than I do. This was a concept that I knew very well last year for my exams, but I've since kind of forgot. But it's a question that always comes up. I've mentioned it in my videos, economics is great because you learn a lot of real world concepts, like why all of these fast food chains are clumped together. And that is a question that everybody asks me, why they come together, explain yourself. So today I've tried to explain it in as good a detail as possible, and hopefully that helps. If you want to see more real world examples of economics in action, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like on this video, it really, really does help. And if you're looking to get yourself a phone wallet, then check out these phone wallets. They're linked down in the description below. £1. Thank you so much for watching,